they can coordinate all religious activities for uh, the mosques. In other words, the things that are um, the things that are common to all of them then can be supported by the council, and the council can provide assistance to each of the mosques and centers in the implementation of these activities. Uh, we mentioned the Eid is not the main item, but that was a simple example of just a sign of unity to have the Eid celebrated together. But along with that, we have Eid al-Adha, for example. In Northbrook, we try to have a food program which would be symbolic of the Eid. And we would put packages of food and send them out to the poor, and sometimes in the different neighborhoods. What we have found out to our surprise, because we try to give the food to the Muslim poor. And how do you find them? Well, after the first start of the first year, we found out that there are a lot of Muslims who are poor. And some of them come from Afghanistan, some come from other areas. And one of the persons that was delivering the food, who happened to be Yugoslavian, we had others who were delivering. He said, I will never do it again. And so why? He says, when I went to that apartment of that Muslim family, there were 8 of them. In one room, they had no refrigerator and they had no bed. And he said, I just couldn't take it. But there is a need here, and a coordinating council could work with the mosque to implement a program of this nature. Coordinating responses to the press. Yes, the media is needed. The media will call during various times. They'll call when there's a holiday. They'll call when there's trouble in a Muslim country. They'll call when there's trouble here with the Muslim Americans. There should be a central location where there are people who will respond in an enlightened way. And at the same time, to have gone through some training to be able to respond to the press in order to give the proper image. And at the same time, by doing that, they're also disseminating the information to all of the mosques and centers as to how to respond and what the position is on that particular issue, whether it's a domestic issue or an international issue. Possibly they may want to coordinate school curriculum. And I'm not talking about a full-time school. I'm talking about the schools on Saturdays and Sundays. A curriculum that can be coordinated so that if a Muslim family moves from north side to the south side and their kids transfer from north to south, they enter the program in the school, and it's a continuation. It's nothing new. It's not different. They don't have to get retrained. Summer camp is very important. I know in Los Angeles they do have a summer camp program, and it's functioning very, very well. That is good. And possibly each mosque can afford to do it, or they can't spend the time to do it, whether it's devotional resources of time or money or whatever. But as a council pitching in for 20 or 30 centers, it can be done. And there definitely is a need for that. Organizing visits programs, where visits from one mosque to another mosque in the area, as well as out of state. It's a way of getting the community together, doing something. Because what is the objective? To have the Muslims getting together, getting them to know each other. And by going and traveling together someplace else, they get to know each other better. And at the same time, they learn from what they've seen at other centers, and also benefit the other centers by what they have to give. The newsletters. Each center or mosque may not have a newsletter, but as a council you could have a newsletter, and the information can flow from each center to the coordinating council, and you have one newsletter for all of them. If each individual some of the individual mosques, when they have their own, they continue their own, but still there's also one that covers all. And that keeps the community in touch with each other through the newsletter. We talked about the media and inquiries on television, talk show programs. There are times when talk shows that like to talk to a Muslim about a particular subject. Again, the news, if I might backtrack a little bit, normally the press will take the path of least resistance. In other words, if they know there is somebody somewhere who will talk, they will call on him regardless of how qualified he is. The first criteria is availability. The second one is willingness. And the third one is knowledge of the subject. And so what we want to ensure is that the accessibility is made with those who are knowledgeable on the subject. And therefore, if we had this council, it'll become apparent that if you need information about Islam or Muslims in the area, then that's where you would call to get the information. The political aspects are extremely important, and you're right. If a call was made to a senator or a congressman, what difference would it make? It does make a lot of difference. Those who are involved in politics and with politicians and so on, it makes a difference who they hear from. Because even if they don't believe in the subject and they vote one way, they'll satisfy their response to the constituents by saying, well, I got 5,000 letters on this subject. What am I supposed to do? I have to satisfy my constituents. So it does make a lot of difference. And again, a coordinating council could bring that about of the voter registration, information about particular candidates, who to vote for, and suggestions, and so on. That becomes important, and that adds stature to the community. We can go on, I suppose, with a lot of other items. One, I would say, which I think is kind of important, I think maybe Sheikh Jamal would agree, that we need to also have scholarship programs for Islamic studies and for training of imams in this country, and have them from here, who are born here and living here and grew up here, to be trained for it. And whether they would go to the University of Chicago and then Saudi Arabia or Azhar or whatever, and then come back and teach here, having the blend of both. This is a project that could also be done by the council. And I'm sure you can think of many more, and there's no need to go through any more, but I think the point is made that there is a need for some kind of coordination, which is not done necessarily at a level that's beyond us at this point that we'll be so frustrated trying to do it that we'll just give it up. All these things are doable, and they're doable in a very short period of time, and they're doable with existing resources. And so, Mr. Chairman, my suggestion would be to work on something like this, and if there are any thoughts on it, they're welcome. If not, maybe you want to move on and see if this is something that is acceptable, and maybe that's something that could be done tonight. Salam
Jazakallah khair. Now we start seeing some concrete ideas and proposals. Maybe it's about time. It's after 10 o'clock. Well, he made a motion. He made a motion, but he didn't use the word motion. Now, I'd like to know if any of the brothers have the burning urge to speak further. Yes, sir. Before I give the podium to Brother Nasser, right? Sharif Nasser. Nasser Sharif? Sharif Nasser? Sharif Nasser. Would you like to put it in a form of motion? At this point, we passed 10 o'clock. So, and then seconded, then after Brother Sharif Nasser, we can discuss as a official motion. second, third, and fourth, I see, mashallah. طيب أخي الشيخ. You know, I have everybody on the list here to invite to speak. Anybody else have the burning urge to speak and address us not more than 2 minutes? طيب brother, نعم. 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 Now they already did. They did. Not they were already. They were seconded, and thirded, and fourthed. Yeah. Okay. We'll allow 2 minutes for brother who have the burning urge to speak. Brother Yaqub. Brother Yaqub.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. Just very quickly, what I would like to suggest that Alhamdulillah, first of all, this unity platform is a must. In this time, we ought to have this, and inshallah, we have to work hard to make it a reality and more effective. However, I think from the program point of view, my suggestion is that we should limit to one test. The immediate test, what I see, where there is no, real effort made or coordination, is the political awareness of the Muslims and their participation in the political process of this country. And I think if we just concentrate in our network-wise through this unity platform, I think it will give a uniform input to the common masses. A typical Muslim of the 6 million Muslims in this country is really unaware. Very few brothers and sisters who are attached to masajid, they are at least having some Islamic viewpoint, because all the input that they are getting from the media is not really, 100% right. In fact, maybe at about 50% wrong. So to give them an Islamic perspective of what reality is as far as Muslims are concerned, I think we need some kind of base from the masajid going to every single home in this country. And I think through this kind of platform, at least if we start from Chicago, inshallah, Brother Ibrahim, mashallah, did pretty good effort to begin something. Inshallah, it should be carried on to another larger cities and through ISNA and ICNA organization nationwide. So I think my suggestion is that at this point, or at least in the near future, we should concentrate on the political awareness of the Muslims in this country.
Brother Yaqub, you are the chairman of the director of the Downtown Islamic Center? No? Thank you. Brother Tawfiq, you want to say something? Tawfiq is the chairman of the board of the Aqsa Secondary High School, the only one not only in the city, it's in the country.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Apparently, every one of us recognizes that we have too many hopes and aspirations we would like to achieve overnight. Many of us have mentioned that we have tried for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to achieve certain things, and we have failed. I am a student of searching for the reasons why Muslims have failed in their attempts to achieve any or many of their aspirations and goals. I have discovered that the lack of power, the power or the might, as they say here, might is right, the power that we lack in this country, and this country recognizes the power very much, and I don't mean physical power as much as I mean social and political power. That power that we lack does contribute to our failure in achieving many of our goals. So it may behoove all of us to consider looking for a way to assume that power. And that power, I think, can fall under the umbrella of the suggestion of Brother Ibrahim, that is a network that would start immediately getting together the names of all Muslims, not organizations. The organizations that represent 5% will not achieve that power ever. All Muslims should subscribe together to achieve that political power, and I mean the power of vote. The other power, which is long-term program once we have gotten the Muslims together and we have made that kind of network, we can build the schools, we can educate our children in 2 generations, we can graduate thousands, hundreds of thousands of our children. That will be a new breed of Muslims that can affect and influence the society, the government, and every aspect of life in this country. We know examples in our history where Muslims have, where non-Muslims have converted into Islam wholesale by simply accepting the ethics and morals of Islam after seeing them applied and seeing the example given by Muslims. If we were not, and we were not indeed able to give that good example for the American society over here, let's hope that our children can, after we have managed to educate them in our own schools. So I see an urgency to establish that network and encompass all Muslims in one organization. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. There is one more who have a burning urge to speak, Brother Faisal Hamouda. Oh, thank you. Anyone else? Before we open the discussion for on the motion? You want to speak? Fine. 2 minutes, please.
Assalamu alaikum. We are not united unless we are really united. We always talk about it, but are we really? I don't want to be a kind of skeptical about our goals. I did understand that all of us here, we really understand how important to be united, but we still we still need something to do. I did learn in this country 2 things. First of all, constitution. I believe if we really want to be united, we have to have a constitution that all of us are going to obey. And very important point, I've seen the discussion going towards the organization in Chicago. And we said at the beginning that the Islamic organization represents 5, 10, 15%. And if we want to be united, we are talking about the 85% outside the organization. Now, if the organizations are going to be representative here, the 85% are not. And in America, they say, the less voting we have, that means people are less interested. If the people are less interested, that means we are not united. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, we have a motion and has been seconded, and would like to take it as a one wholesale or a lump sum or a piecemeal. Okay. Please.
Basically, the motion is for council, which consists of all of the mosques and the centers, and that council to elect an executive committee, which would be composed of a smaller number, let's say 7, and can be modified. And so that basically is the motion. Everything else is what the council will do, and they'll develop that themselves. But basically, we're giving ideas. Now, an ad hoc committee from here now to pursue the formation of that council. Once that's formed, that committee then is dissolved.
Well, if we can agree on the principle, which is formation of a council to represent the association or organization or Islamic center, that's the motion. Then you come to the mechanism how to bring it about to life. Then it comes the ad hoc committee. Is that correct, my understanding? Okay? I mean, we're trying to put a general understanding. Let's not disagree on the wording, brother. Let's not waste a lot of time on the wording. Everybody in his heart, he understands the concept, the meaning, the aim, and the objective, what we're looking for. Now, the word, you can change it tomorrow. You can change it in the ad hoc committee. You can make a different proposal until you finalize it. But the principle is this.
take the question.
Okay. All in favor, say Allahu Akbar. All against, say nine. Alhamdulillah. Takbir. Now, I understand part of your motion, which we broke it up into the first one. The second part now is to form the ad hoc committee to work the mechanism.
Of bringing these organizations.
Now,
Yeah, I move that we form an ad hoc committee of the president of the Muslim Community Center, the Islamic Foundation, the Mosque Foundation, the Islamic Cultural Center, Downtown Islamic Center, and Masjid Al-Fatih. The president of these 6 centers will be the ad hoc committee. The council will be everybody. But the president of these 6 centers, in addition to Brother Ibrahim and Sheikh Ahmed Zaki, so we have 8 members, my motion, would be the ad hoc committee.
you have to make him 9 or 7. No, I'm out of it, please. Would that actually complement and detail more the second half of Brother Talah's motion? Is that agreeable, Brother Talah?
That's agreeable.
Okay, we'd like to make him like 9 instead of 8, or 7 instead of 8. An odd number, not an even number. No.
The focus now is to get a community that can work and achieve objectives. So I would be flexible when it comes to numbers, provided that it's not 11, with the permission that we don't insist on 11.
No, we'll leave the 11 to the final Brahim stamp.
So I believe that the motion by Dr. Bistan is a great motion. The presidents of these major organizations, they can have one member at large or something like this. Then they move on towards the formation of the final council.
We were flexible, but we're trying to, all those committees, they have to have an odd number, or not. Philip.
This is not something they will achieve by voting 5 against 4.
Fine.
You see, they have to reach a consensus. I mean, if 4 are not agreeable and 5 are agreeable, that's not going to move things.
Now, is anybody from Masjid al-Fatih here?
Yeah. We should not insist on odd or even number. I
That's
think
fine.
these 6 major centers, well, plus Brother Ibrahim, because he has the effort and the ideas, and Sheikh Ahmed Zaki with his experience.
Yeah.
8 would be...
Excuse my ignorance. We need to know how would Masjid al-Fatih respond to this kind of proposal. Anybody can respond to this?
I have not to respond to that, but I want to make a suggestion here. If you are deciding to do a feasibility study and work on this thing which we agreed upon, won't it be better that we...
No, we're not going to do feasibility study. Everybody felt the need for it, so we want to implement this decision, to proceed to implement it.
Okay, to implement it,
No.
to the people who are present, why don't you select out of them to work it out?
Well, it's out of them. Only Masjid al-Fatih is not here. And I'm sorry.
Actually, most of them are here.
Yeah, all of them are here, the ones I mentioned. And of course, it is good to have everybody. It is my motion does not mean to say any other center is less important.
No.
But you have to have, as an ad hoc committee, a working number. And all the ad hoc committee will do is make a proposal of structure. They will not be permanent. They will finish their job as soon as they make a proposal of structure and it gets approved. Then they should have a mechanism for election or some way that
Fine.
the leadership will
Thank
come
you.
about.
Thank you.
The centers that I'm proposing, the president, and I will insist that the president come, not send a representative, is the Muslim Community Center, the Islamic Foundation, the Mosque Foundation, the Islamic Cultural Center, Downtown Islamic Center, and Masjid Al-Fatih. And of course there are other centers as important, but this is just, you have to pick up a certain number to start with. And then they will come up with a proposal that will guarantee the representation of everybody. They are just an ad hoc committee.
Now, this motion be seconded, correct? And we were discussing the motion which is being seconded. And the motion has been clarified more now. Yes, this was part of the initial motion when we split it out. He was seconded, and he was seconded. نعم.
They have proven to be very successful, and we should also utilize the experience in that regard. So I think the application of hikmah is vital to that ad hoc. Can I say something?
نعم. Brother Sam, you respond to that?
You see, I don't think national organizations should be represented. And it doesn't fit because national organizations have chapters and I'm not suggesting to Ahmed Zaki by virtue of being president of ISNA, his term will finish in a month or two. So I'm suggesting him by his own merit. I do not think national organizations like ISNA or NATE or ISNA, because we are forming a council for Chicago now. So it doesn't make sense to say national organizations should